Let's get into the Passimento Romeo and Juliet blend. So this is not an amarone, it doesn't come under the DOCG, the denomination or the appellation amarone. This is a Veneto Rosso because it's not made from grapes exactly from the Valpolicella area, but around the Valpolicella area, still in the Veneto, still around the province of Verona, around the town and the city of Verona. And by the way, how this cuvée came by and why this beautiful label, by the way. This is a photo of the wall of Juliet in the Juliet's house. So in Verona there is this famous villa, that is the Villa di Giulietta, the Juliet's house from the tale of Romeo and Juliet. And so they've reproduced this label and this is a bit of a tribute to Romeo and Juliet in the city of Verona as well. This is also made like amarone, drying grapes. So they harvest the grapes, they pick them by hand and then put them on trays for quite a few weeks. I mean, amarone they can dry the grapes for up to 100 or around 120 days, so that's quite a long time. It's probably a little bit less on this one. So this wine is a blend of Corvina and Croatina, which are traditional grapes from Valpolicella, but it's got also a little bit of Merlot just to give it a bit more body and make it a bit more relaxed, we assume. So let's pour this little baby. This is a 2016 vintage, so it's a young wine. I believe this is very popular in restaurants all around the world, and you're probably going to be able to buy this wine anywhere at your local shop. I think it's extensively exported and distributed around the world. Pretty nice, very dense color. The nose is a little bit shy, so I suspect you should decant this wine, and I might actually do that right now, just to give this wine a little bit more time to open up and express itself. Bear with me a second. Yes, so let's decant this little baby, give it a little bit more air and a minute more of aeration before I can taste it. Here we go. This is a Beautiful Decanter by Spigolo, one of my favorite brands for glassware for wine. Here we go. We'll give this wine 5 minutes to open up and get back to it. Here we go. So I've let the wine rest for 5 minutes. It's important to give wine the time that it needs before you taste it. So check out, blog sites and what critics say about the wine you're going to try, and see if they say how long before you should open it up. Otherwise, just give the wine a sniff like I did. And if it feels a little bit introvert, if it smells a little bit like rubber or a little bit like tar, give the wine a little time to open up, decant it, half an hour. Most wines open up very quickly. After 10 minutes at least, they start really to open up. So it's always a good advice to do that. Let's dig into this wine a bit further now. Yeah, it's definitely opened up. I'm getting a lot of blackberry and juicy cherry. So the drying of the grapes obviously concentrates the sugar, but also the fruit character, and you can definitely smell that it's got some jammy cherry as well as caramel. It still has a little bit of this tarry note, which I think also comes from the traditional Verona grapes. But it's spicy, it's chocolatey, it's got a bit of dark cocoa. It's very tempting, very opulent and pungent to smell at. So yeah, this is definitely a dry wine. Amarone stands for bitter, or very bitter. It comes from the word amaro, which means bitter in Italian, and amarone means that it's supposed to be really bitter. Amarone is not actually very bitter, but it does has the savoriness and the concentration of tannins and the vivacity of the acidity makes it somewhat bitter or somewhat savory, and definitely food friendly. So this is a dry wine, but it's opulent in body. There's a big burst of caramel, cherry flavor, somewhat of like a big Merlot in a way, but with the savoriness, the touches of vegetal character, herbal characters to the age, lots of pepper. This is a big bursting wine, but it's also thirst quenching as well. This is not the huge amarone, big rich amarone style. This is kind of a take on a mild expression and fruity expression of amarone without the immense this kind of a bit overwhelming body of some Amarone. It actually has a little bit less alcohol as well. Amarones tend to have very high alcohol. This is 14% only, while those two are 15%. So you get the goodness of an Amarone without the overwhelming too big of a wine if you're not too much into this style. Passimento, Romeo and Juliet, to me is a 90 out of 100 points. It's getting interesting. It's in that international world-class wine. Tempting, delicious, thirst quenching, fruity, delicious wine.